trending, especially with schooling and even with the homeschooling community. And I think a lot of people don't understand the importance, or maybe they do, but they don't even understand how to incorporate play into their children's education. So we're very excited to hear what our first speaker would be sharing in that light. Her name is Mrs. Msthonia Omolopo, also known as Miss Msthonia. She's an early childhood enthusiast and play-based learning expert. She's also an author and has written 2 children's storybooks, Riri Has a Pet and Riri and the Last Puppies. She has a first degree in economics and a postgraduate diploma in early childhood education. 9 years ago, she stepped into a classroom and she hasn't looked back since. She shares early years tips and resources on her Instagram page at Miss Msthonia. She creates and sells digital and physical resources on her website, Bloom and Cuddles. She also has an online community called the Early Years Hub for early years teachers and homeschooling parents. So ladies and gentlemen, can we please make welcome Miss Msthonia? Thank you. Or Msthonia.
Good morning. Good morning. It's so good to be here. Good morning, everybody. So because I am an early years teacher, we're going to do the early years way. Can we all stand up for a bit? Just like shake our bodies a little. So there's this rhyme that I sing with my pupils in class, and we're going to do it together. Yes, stretch. You need to stretch. It's very funny though. Yeah. Are you ready? Okay, so I'll sing. Don't worry, I'll sing and you can just sing along with me, but you have to do what I do, okay? So it goes this way. Atudita, 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 ta. Atudita, 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 ta. Thumbs up. Atudita, 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 ta. Atudita, 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 ta. Thumbs up. Elbows back. Atudita, 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 ta. Atudita, 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 ta. Thumbs up, elbows back, feet apart, knees together, bottoms up, tongue out, eyes shut, turn around. Atudita, 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 ta. Atudita, 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 ta. That's much better. Thank you. Good morning once again. So I'm Msthonia. I am an earliest. My name is Tonia Olaide Omolupo, but my pupils call me Msthonia, so let's go with that. And today I'll be talking to you about using play as an homeschooling tool. And I love the theme that says teaching your own. So yes, when I saw the theme, it took me back to when I was much younger, and I'll just tell you why I chose play. When I was much younger, I think I was in nursery 2, I think, yes. So I had a struggle with mathematics, and it was funny for my dad because he loved math, so he was wondering why his daughter no math. So he did something. He came to school, and then he told my teacher that we were going to take 2 weeks of school, so I wouldn't be in school for 2 weeks. And we were at home for 2 weeks, and those 2 weeks were the most wonderful moments of my life because we had a lot of, I played a lot. So we did, I loved Chocomilo as a child. So my dad would buy, then it was I think 50 kobo or so back then, and he would buy a lot of it. And then he was using them as counters for me to count. He would tell me to count. He would tell, okay, add this together, put this together. And then this agbalumo, the seeds, we would gather them. I was using them to count. He would tell me to write something about them or draw something. And after 2 weeks, when I got back to school, I had changed. Like from 5th position, I was getting 1st position. I'm like, yeah, daddy. So for me, play was a very important, played a very important role in my life. And by the time I finished school and I decided I was going to teach and I started working, I got into the classroom and it was a different thing. So I was like, this was not what I knew as a child. Everybody, I was teaching in the 2 to 3 year class, and they must write 1 to 100. They must write 1 to 50. And it was a bit of struggle for me. So after 4 years, I had to leave because I wasn't just comfortable. I needed a place where I could Allow the children explore. For me, play is not just jumping up and down, dancing, screaming. Play is learning, and that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. So before we start, I'd just like to ask you some questions. What does play mean to you? When you hear the word play, what does it mean to you? Entertainment. Somebody else? Fun? Anybody else? Mess. Always, yes. Anybody else? Just one more before I continue. We said fun, entertainment, messy, plays learning, plays exploring. So first, I want to talk about learning in this 21st century. So the goal is, I want you to just take this, that the goal is not to raise an academically sound child. It is to raise an wholesome child. It is to prepare them for the future that we can't see now, but it's just to get them ready for that future. And after spending 4 years in my first school, and we were all talking about, we would go, I'm a teacher, so I can tell you what goes on in the classroom. We would go for all these trainings and they would talk about 21st century skills, collaboration, critical thinking, problem solving, innovation, and all of that. And then I started asking myself, how am I going to get children to collaborate when we are always having textbook worksheets? Every minute, as they are dropping their bag, you already have worksheets 1 to 100, tracing and all of that. And I told myself, nah, it can't work that way. So I had to leave. And then I moved to somewhere where I was allowed to express myself. And it's been wonderful so far. So let's start with what play is not. Play is not unimportant, as some of our traditional schools have made it to seem or made it to look. It is not unnecessary. It is not an excuse from learning. It is not unseriousness. Trust me, it is not. I played a lot as a child, so I can tell you. Play is creativity. Play is self-confidence. Play is innovation. Play is critical thinking. Play is problem solving, being able to see a problem and being able to want to solve it. Play is curiosity. As an adult, I've been able to work with some people, and I actually realized that some of our struggles, a lot of adults that we have around us do not like to solve problems. We want it fast, quickly. We want it sharp, sharp. We are very eager. I had to, so I was promoted, and then I had to oversee a particular adult. And part of my issues, or part of our struggles, has been being able to solve a problem. She sees it as stress. She sees it as, you're stressing me, just go do it yourself. And I'm like, so if you are doing this, how do you plan to groom children who will grow up to be problem solvers? And that's because maybe at some point in our lives as children, all the focus was on writing 1 to 100, being able to read very quickly, being able to solve maths, being able to theory. At some point, I became a very good crammer. Like, I would look at my notes and just take the full page, and I'll just go and dump it in the exam hall. And my mom actually thought I was brilliant. She didn't know that, Omo. I was just cramming, no. Now, as an homeschooling tool, like I said, play is not all about academics. It's not all about 1 to 100. Yes, we want our children to learn their numbers. We want them to know their colors. We want them to know their shapes. We want them to read. We want them to write. We want all of these things. But the beautiful thing about play is the process. And that is one thing that is missing in our world of today. We don't like process. We don't like I said, we want it quickly, sharp, sharp. Everybody wants to jump the process. But the beauty is in the process. The beauty is in the time that is taken. The beauty is in watching those children evolve. I used to say that children come to us empty. It's our duty to fill them up. And it is very important that we fill them up with the right things. I said play is also innovation. It is also well-being, independence, self-reliance. we can say that the play pedagogy, that's the art of teaching, is infusing all these things to teaching and learning. With play, everything is a learning tool. Everything and anything, anywhere. You don't really have to buy one particular resource to be able to teach. Yeah, sometimes you need some resources, yes. But you don't really need to have numbers in your car or to be able to teach. The environment is a learning tool. If you get children to get in tune with their environment, things will become easy. Like when I had struggles with mathematics, it took Chokomilo for me to learn how to count, how to add, how to subtract, because I was able to link mathematics to real life. That's what play does for you. And when for math, because math is like one of the greatest struggles we have in academics, I think, compared to English. If you're able to get your children to link it to real life, in fact, every other thing becomes easy. Okay. Okay. Now, I'll talk about factors affecting play in our environment in the world of today. Our schools, like I said, traditional school. In fact, it's become worse now because you hear we teach with a blend of Montessori and EYFS and traditional school, and you're wondering how. I went for an interview and the person was saying Montessori and EYFS. I'm like, not me, not here. How are you blending everything together? How are you? Or you here? We do British curriculum, we American curriculum, and we don't need all that lingua really for children to learn. We don't need all that grammar. You don't need to bamboozle people like that. Play is very easy. It is easy. You don't need, and funny enough, we did a lot of that as children. When I was younger, I used to climb trees a lot. I was telling my husband how we would travel to, I'm from Ondo State, so we would go to Akure and we would leave the outside of my younger sister. I would go and climb trees to pluck fruits, pluck flowers, do all of those things. While we were doing all those things, while we would play in the sand, make cake, I don't know if any one of you did that, build sand castles, we were learning. We were learning to measure. When you were playing tinko, when you were playing upscotch, what's it called? Suwe. When you were doing all of that, you didn't know you were developing your cognitive reasoning skills. You didn't know you were developing your measure. When you helped to pick beans, little things as simple as that. Oh, come and pick beans for me. You were learning to count. You were learning hand-eye coordination. You were learning to measure. You were learning a whole lot of things. When you go out of your house, my dad used to, there's one thing he used to do because he didn't work for so long. My mom was doing the working and he was more a stay-at-home dad. And we'll go out and he will tell you, look at those cars. How would you be able to differentiate between the Honda and the Mercedes and the Peugeot and environmental prints? That's the first step to reading. So I started reading at the age of 3 because already I'd gotten used to, my cognitive reasoning skills had been built and I was able to read environmental labels. Like I said, with play, your environment is a learning tool. Anything is a learning tool. The beans you want to pick in the kitchen is a learning tool. Your broom is a learning tool. Your packer is a learning tool. Your pegs, your clothes. Okay, you've done the laundry and then you want them to come and sort between the socks and the singlets and the shirts. Come and sort between your pants, your uniform, your shoes. Everything and anything. In fact, I used to say that play is the most inexpensive way to teach. You really don't need to do too much. I hope I'm like, is it sinking? Because everybody's quiet and I'm like, like I'm shaking. Okay. Thank you. Sorry. Okay. Now let's go to play and learning. How is play linked to learning? Let's talk about social development. I was telling the Kodu blog one day, I think she made a post and I was telling her how her son happens to be, although homeschooled, his social skills are amazing. Like, I see what she posts and I'm like, half of the children in my class are not even as expressive as he is. At least I've listened to his voice notes and all of that, things that he says, and I'm like, half of the children in my class are not even as social as he is. We play. Play and social, while engaging in play, children get to experience interacting with other people. They get to learn things. I always tell the adults in my class that these children know more than we know. They sit down, they watch cartoons, they can tell you the names of dinosaurs that you don't even know. Till date, I only know T-Rex. I don't know any other one. Like, I can't even stress myself to start learning. But when I hear them talk in class, I'm like, wow. Like, so they have no worries. So like, they have enough time on their hands to learn all these things. And by the time they start to interact with other people, it rubs off on other people. It also includes, we play, children learn to manage. And one thing I didn't say is that play is also self-regulation. As adults, most of us struggle with regulating our emotions, being able to take a step back, regulate, come back again, while children are playing, while they are having. So one of my boss used to say, because we practice the EYFS, and she would always say that EYFS is about experiences. She doesn't even say it's about maths or literacy. She just says it's about experiences. So while they are playing, they are learning how to self-regulate. They are learning, this child snatched a toy from me. I don't need to hit the child to get my toy back. I can take a step back if I feel upset. I can go tell the teacher. I can, ask for my toy back. You can teach them confidence. So what I used to tell my children when they come and they're like, it took my time, I'm like, go ask questions. We play. I am able to help my children self-regulate. I'm able to help them regulate their emotions. I'm able to boost their social skills. I don't need to sit them down, put a slide on the board and say, today we are going to learn loudly and audibly. Yes, play and language development. We play, you're able to develop their language skills. So they get to learn new things. Like, if today we want to learn how to make pancakes, and you have your flour, you have your salt and every other thing. While playing, you're teaching your child the names of the ingredients. You're teaching them how to measure action words. In there, you're already putting in action words. You're putting in adjectives. Pour it in slowly. And they are listening to you. And it's building their language skills. That is why it looks like when you go to the UK, you see 3-year-olds speaking and using big words. And you're like, these children are... But the truth is, it's true play. They are learning while they are playing. While in most of our schools here, we're focusing on academics. They are focusing on building experiences that would build the children, that will prepare the children for the future. And all this is true play. Nothing serious, no big English, no big grammar. It's just play. Cognitive development, like I mentioned, that most of the games we played when we were little had to do with cognitive development. Tinko. There's this other one we used to, it's 10-10. Before you're trying to figure out your partner's move, cognitive development, you were tasking your brain. You didn't know all of that, but those are you use some of the skills as adults now, and you did not. And that's the wonderful thing about play. The children don't know they are learning. You know you are teaching, but they don't know they are learning, and it's a win-win. They get to play, you get to teach, but you don't need to stress yourself too much. You don't need to do. I saw one post yesterday on Instagram where the mother, I don't know if anybody saw it, where the woman was saying, what color is this? And the child was saying color pizza and all that. But we play. I don't really need to come and start saying, what color is this? In fact, I hate doing that. What color is this? I always tell my team that, you know what? Instead of asking, what color is this? What shape is this? Just set the activity. So sometimes when we are sitting down and we are collating our observations for the day, the teacher would say, I asked him what color this is. He did not answer me. I said, but did you see him sorting? Did you see him telling his friend that's color blue? Because these children won't even talk to you, but they will talk to their friends through play. Now, where do you fit in as the parents? Okay, yes. I want to infuse play-based learning into my child's learning. I want my child to experience. So, Msthonia, do I really have to go through all that stress? So recently, I've been taking on some children, and one of the things I do is just take a step back and just observe. Especially with children. If you have more than one, there are 2 or 3, I just observe. I observe the child playing and creating scenarios. And these children, they are very imaginative. There was a time I had this styrofoam. I brought styrofoams to the class, and one of the children just grabbed one and said, that's his piano. All through that day, nobody else played with it because he was just carrying it around the class. This is my piano. It's my piano, as in, don't touch it. And I was like, children are very imaginative. They are very creative. And it is our duty as adults to, nurture that seed. It's a seed. You need to nurture it, and you need to nurture it right. You can nurture it through play. So where do you fit in? You are first the provider. So it's your job to provide everything the child will need. First, an enabling environment is very key. An enabling environment is not just space for the child to play. A warm environment, peaceful environment, an environment that is safe for the children to thrive. Children will only thrive when they know that the environment is safe, when they feel loved. There's something we say in school, we say Maslow before Bloom's. Maslow's hierarchy of needs talks about how children need to be, you have to cater to their feeding needs and every other thing before you can start saying you want to teach them. So they need to be sure that they are safe with you. They need to be sure that mommy has my back, or daddy is always there for me no matter what. That would actually help them learn. Then you are a model to them. So children learn a lot from seeing what others do and from copying, especially from you, the parent, you, the adults. So they learn from what you do, what you say, how you talk to people. So play is not just, like I said, academics. It's you're trying to groom a wholesome child. So it's in everything. It's in how you treat people around you. It's in how you talk to the next person. The children are learning from you, because one thing about play is play also teaches empathy. Like we said, social situations. So it's in what you do. Your children are watching, they are seeing, they are learning, they are picking from every little thing that you do. You are their supporter, you are their cheerleader. You keep on encouraging them to go on. So when you notice that a child is trying to give up, like I had this child in my class last session, and she would try to fix something and then she starts to cry because she's struggling. She's not, and I'll tell her, try harder, you can do it. Keep going, you're almost there. In fact, now it's so much in my class that when I tell them to take turns trying out an activity, you hear the other saying, you can do it, keep going, you're almost there. When you keep doing that, there's no task that child will want to try. And it's part of what I was saying about the adult I was talking about, saying she sees being innovative as stressful. In fact, somebody actually said it, that when you ask me to think out of the box, it stresses me out. But by the time you've groomed your children that way, they'll grow up to be adults who want to be creative. They'll grow up to be creative adults. They'll grow up to be innovative adults. So we talked about you as the supporter, you as their cheerleader, always telling them to keep trying, even if you don't know how to. Like sometimes yesterday, there was this toy we were playing with, and I actually didn't know how to figure it out. And a child, I was watching the boy, a 2-year-old, he actually fixed it, and I was like, what is she? Me, the adults, I don't really, and that stemmed up from me always encouraging, always saying you can do it, keep going, you're almost there, don't worry, it's okay to try. Mistakes are how we learn. Your words are very, very key when you're giving them support. Mistakes are how we learn. It's okay to make mistakes. Mistakes are how we learn. You can keep trying, and if you're struggling, you can always ask for help. These things are very key in trying to groom the wholesome child. You're also the observer. Like I said, you don't have to be like always involved all the time. Take a step back. After you've created the environment, provided the resources, and done all of that, take a step back and watch your child, bloom. Watch them explore, watch them experience. So there's something that I usually do. When I noticed, there was a day I noticed that my children were always going under the table in the class. In fact, it was a struggle for me, because I was like, you're going to hurt yourself. So I said, you know what, guys, I told my team, let's look for cartons. Anywhere you can get any big carton, anywhere. Please just get the carton, because there are things called play schemas. When you notice a child is doing a particular thing and you want to just encourage you to to just like groom or nurture that particular skill, or develop that particular skill. So we got the carton, and then we made a tunnel. So I put these small pieces of cloth in front of it, and I just moved all the tables in the class. The next morning they came in, they saw a tunnel. Oh my goodness, everybody, they went ballistic. It was fun, and I was able to, communicate don't go under the table. There's a carton here, I was able to, it was a win-win. They got to have fun, they got to learn, they got to learn turn taking, because with that tunnel, I was able to teach taking turns. Yeah, you can wait for your turn, self-regulation. You can take a step back, let your friend go in first, and then you go in next. See, one at a time. We're all safe. Our hands are safe. Our feet are safe. You don't need to push. You don't need to. In that situation, I didn't need to actually put up a slide or give them a worksheet to be able to tell them you need to take turns. I was just able to teach them that while they were playing. That's why I said play is the most inexpensive way to teach a child. Now, materials that you can use in the house. I actually brought some things too. Simple things as, if you want to be academic, like academic, no problem, I got you. As your paper plates. With your paper plates, you can get puzzles. You can get, well, okay, I use it mainly for puzzles. I use it for color sorting. Your paper plates. If you have bottle covers in your house, in fact, that's the best of all. That's like the best. I always have bottle covers in my class all the time. Like I said, if you're academics, I got you. So with this muffin pan, I use it to teach memory games. Now, memory games are good for cognitive development skills. Thank you very much. So this is what I do with it. I just put some. Thank you so much. See, it's all DIY. Play. With play, you can use anything. So all I did was I used paper. I just got this hard paper. I stuck bottle covers on it. And then with my muffin pan, so I printed out some numbers and all of that. So I'll just put some things in it. It could be colors, it could be anything. So maybe we are teaching, like last week we were teaching body parts. And then I just got our eyes, nose, mouth, and just put it in there. Then I'll cover it, I'll open it down. Can you see it? What do you see? We identified everything. Then I covered it back. And can you show me where the mouth is? And the child just opened it up. I'm like, okay, yeah. So that was another way I was using to reinforce parts of the body, and I also used it to develop the children's critical cognitive reasoning skills. You can use just about anything. I remember when I went to visit my cousin, and she had this IO game in her house, and she just needed to engage her children for a bit. So I just said, you know what, just get me the IO seeds. Let's count. So yeah, we do. So with this one, I don't do the usual counting. Just, I mean, I don't do the usual IO game. So it's just counting, get them to use it to count for. It's not suitable for younger children, please. You have to be, in fact, you have to monitor closely and strictly with this IOCs. What else did I bring? What else did I get? Yes, pegs. I got cups. Tissue rolls. Oh my God. Like, my house is a mess because I store up all these things. Tissue rolls, I use them to create puzzles, just different things. It's nothing serious. So you can even use it to buy. With play, you can buy time for yourself. You need to just do something for a while. Just set up one little activity. With these tissue rolls, you can use them to create puzzles. Just cut them. Maybe draw a full part. Then cut it into two. And then you have a puzzle. Nothing serious. Nothing overly expensive. Yes, I love buying resources. However, I also like to stick with DIY, and that's the beauty of play. You can use just about anything to teach your children. When you're going out, even if it's to take your child to a trip. There's one wonderful thing I love about the Cuddle blog. Like, she has this amazing way of, I don't know how she even finds these places, and they're always very cheap, very affordable. 3K gate fee, 2K gate fee. Just take them out. Let them explore the world around them. Let your child. It's not just about worksheets. It's not about, the world is not just about writing numbers 1 to 100. I always tell people that, come, we wrote 1 to 100. When was the last time somebody told you need to write 1 to 100 before you can cross these gates? When was the last time somebody told you need to write 1 to 50 now before I can give you this money? It's the little skills, these skills that we think they are not important, but they are very important. Your critical thinking skills, cognitive, social skills. I am a very shy person. I don't know why people don't believe, but I am a very shy person. I wish I had gone out more often as a child. Like, my parents were very protective, even though we used to go, but very, very protective. But I wish we had maybe. If we do that with our children, take them out, let them see you as not just mommy that would always correct me, but mommy their friend, mommy their playmate. You'll be able to groom the wholesome child. So I would like us to do something. Yes. I brought some things. No way. I brought my paper plates, but I would like to split us into groups so that we can just do something. Let's collaborate. Right? Everywhere is so quiet now. I'm feeling like. So I'm trying to 1, 2. Let me count first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we can have groups of 3. Yeah, we can have groups of 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. See, collaboration. See, thank you. Critical thinking. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's just do that. All 3s in the same group. Yes, thank you. 1, 2, 3. She's 3. Okay, he's 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right, so let's get to it. The first group. So I have this. Hi. Don't worry, even if she's moving, let's go. We can even make our groups more. So you get to sit down with each other. Yes, please, you get to sit down. Yes, sit together. All right. So I have this. Okay, so I didn't come with so much, but I have this. I have the tissue.
Something we can do with this. Okay. I have cartons here, I have tissue rolls here. Anything you want. Extra. Do you need more tissue rolls? There's no. We have my.
Remember, it's all about the process. It doesn't have to be perfect. Yes, it doesn't have to be perfect.
I don't like it. I don't want it.
Okay. Yeah, that's perfect.
No, we don't. But that's okay.
So what do we do for this one? So this is the one that we're cutting in. So this one will just sit. Yeah. And this is what we're cutting. You said for you? No, we can.
Okay. I can see that you're done with this. So let me give you one more activity. You're going to make flashcards out of this. Okay. Doesn't have to be. Remember the process. It doesn't have to be. The marker, right? Okay. I think I have one more. You need the marker, right? Okay, scissors. Okay. Okay, you're still using scissors. Let me. So much learning is taking place. As in, I'm trying to imagine that this is my classroom. In fact, I draw was done, but don't worry, you're fine.
I can imagine that this is my class and I just want to buy like 10 minutes of peace and quiet.
I didn't even think about it.
Well done, everybody. So in like 5 minutes, we'll be getting together again.
These guys are making flat sounds for. My goodness. You're doing alphabet soup. That's 5 more minutes. Are you sure this one is not enough? I love how you're using sheets, so you can also celebrate.
Okay, I'll be counting down from 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you, everyone. Can we all come together now? Thank you, everybody. You are all amazing. Thank you so much. Can we all come together? Let's come together. All right. So let me start with group 1 here. What did we make?
I like speaking. So okay, so we had three paper plates, and we also then had a black marker, and we were going to make a puzzle. Oh, I need to talk to you. Forget everybody else in the room. Okay. So we were going to make a puzzle. So the first thought was, who is this for? Whatever we're making, who is it for? Because making something for an 8-year-old is different for a 3-year-old or a 10, 12-year-old. So we decided we'll make 3 different things. And we made a puzzle that's very easy. So a puzzle easy for a 3-year-old, we decided a 3-year-old, was something we cut into 4 parts. Because making an easy puzzle for a 3-year-old builds confidence, something they can do themselves, they're very proud of. So we drew an eye. And Chima was so good. I mean, just we were staring at how she drew this eye. And then we did a second puzzle, which was, what was that again? Oh, the face. We did a whole face because when we play with puzzles with kids, or at least when I do it with my kids, I like to have different levels of puzzles. So very easy one, and then a more difficult one, a more challenging one to help them think through. So that one is cut into 8 parts, and it's a face. So they have to put it together. So that was supposed to be the comfortable one, and this third one was supposed to be the very challenging one, which they need help with. And this is for me where the emotional regulation comes in. You need to know that, it's okay not to figure it out, and you need to be patient, and all these things we need to teach them. So with this puzzle, we were meant to cut into 16 or 12, 10, something. But as Shema drew this beautiful picture, we decided maybe it's not a puzzle. Maybe it's a hanging piece, because, 3-year-olds love to follow their moms, especially around. You're in the kitchen, they follow you, they want to go out with you, they're like your purse. So we drew this picture to be a conversation starter. You see this little girl and you're asking,
Daddy with the phone.
Thank you. So we got a toilet roll stub, tissue stub, and we thought of what we could do with it. Then we thought of a pencil holder, but we wanted it to be colorful, we wanted it to be interesting and interactive. Then the image for 7-Up advert came to mind, Fido Dido. So we decided to shape the head like that of Fido Dido and make it have dreadlocks. So we made the dreadlocks very interesting as well. And we had the 7-Up slogan on it. The difference is clear at the bottom. Here you see the eye, the nose, the eyes, then the mouth with a smile, and ears as well. So you can easily drop this on the table, fold this in to cover up the bottom, drop it on the table so your child can put your pencils, your pens in here so they don't get missing. They can even put their erasers as well. And if you had more colors, we'd have painted it into like the rainbow. Take this.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. So that is a full-blown art project there. Thank you. All right, group 3 was doing the talking. Okay. Thank you.
I feel very inadequate now after all these great projects. We first had the thingy, the memory game, but I think we kind of cracked it quite early because we're just numbers 1 and 2 inside. But then we now got the carton thingy, so we cut it out and just made flashcards. The flashcards were from numbers 1 to 10, and we tried to include fruits. Fruits. So I think it's supposed to be an apple. So one side is supposed to have the number, and then the other side the number figure, the number word. And then we now started doing shapes. We did animals. We just tried to cut across a couple of things. So we have flashcards 1 to 10.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. I loved how creative everybody was. But I'd like to ask you something. So imagine your child doing all of this, or your children doing all of this. I could see collaboration. What else did you see? Or what else did you notice? Creativity. Innovation, fun. It has to be fun. Communication. Problem solving. So now imagine that was your child. And then you get to buy yourself, at least I got to rest from talking for a while. So if I was at home, maybe that would buy me 5 to 10 minutes of alone time, right? It should be a win-win for everybody. And then learning to place, like, I would not have even thought that I could do that with the tissue roll. Yeah. So learning to place, right? That's really all it is about play. Anything or everything can be a learning tool. Like I said, from your kitchen, from your doorstep to the bedroom, to your kitchen, everywhere, anything. Developing language skills can start from anything. She mentioned this being a conversation starter. Anything and everything can be a learning tool. So that's it about play. That's it about using play as an homeschooling tool. So do we have any questions? Do you want to say something? Yes. Oh, okay.
Thank you for taking us through this. While you were talking, I was sitting here as I think through my kids, right? I have a 3, 4, 6, and 8. And I was thinking, yeah, sure, play as a homeschooling tool. That's very easy for a 3, 4-year-old. Even as we're sitting in our group, it was easy to use this for a 3, 4-year-old. But could you talk a bit about play as a homeschooling tool for above 5, right? Where, especially, can you also talk about the dynamic that is at home? So not teacher in classroom, because there are resources and they're all labeled and put away. And as a teacher, you don't have to think about the responsibilities of this child apart from in the classroom. As a homeschooling parent, I have to think about everything, you know. I have to think about what emotions are they eating, what are they eating for lunch. I have other children. She was saying, Chioma was saying she's a homeschooling mom as well as a full-time. You know, she has a full-time job. So she's working and still doing something with the child. So can you talk about play for a child that's above 5 in the home environment with the complexities and dynamics of teaching at home? Yeah, thank you.
All right, so let me just say this. You have children. So that makes them 4 children. So this is what I would advise. You can make the oldest child take charge of the play. So that child, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so the child gets to lead, gets to choose, or gets to, how will I put it, lead the play. So even for me as the teacher, or I get to work with some children who have been homeschooled too. So sometimes I have children who are much older, and all I do is just tell the older child to, you know what, so what do you think we should do today? And then the child picks up something and guides the younger ones, and they all do it together. So it's not, like I said, you really do not have to be at the forefront. With play-based, you really don't have to be at the forefront. Yes, you have other things. Like I talked about you being able to buy time for yourself. So yes, the older child can take charge of the play. That you build in leadership qualities as well.
All right.
Does that answer your question? All right.
Thank you. We have another question.
Okay.
My question is, good morning.
Good morning.
Afternoon. My question is, how do you go about, so for example, my son, I'm not homeschooling yet, but I would have considered it maybe early on when my son wasn't communicating, he wasn't talking. He recently started talking, and so now we're knowing, okay, what do you want, expressing himself. So how does someone incorporate something like homeschool or just play, as in learning through play at home when your child is not communicating yet? And you know, when I say not communicating, he was 2, 3, he wasn't talking. It's recently that he became more verbal. So how do you do that?
Okay, so yes, to answer your questions, you can play games like we call this the mystery box game. So you put different items in the box. It could be a shoebox. It doesn't have to be a perfect box. It could be your old Indomie carton, something. You can wrap it up if you want, but it doesn't have to be perfect. So put different items inside the box. I call it the mystery box game. So you shake it up and tell your child to just dip the hand in and just pick up something. When you pick up an item, whatever item your child picks, you just start talking about it. So when you want to introduce modeling, when you want to develop your child's literacy skills or language skills, you don't start with the what is this? You first introduce. So I put some things in the box, I bring it out. This is an apple. Oh, it's a red apple. And it's a yummy red apple. Would you like to have a bite? Yum, yum. So you already you start talking about the apple, get to hear what your child wants to say about it. You do it again for another item, you keep going. Everywhere you go, even in the bathroom, while taking your bath, talk about the soap you want to use, the child wants to use to bathe, the sponge, everything, anything can be a conversation starter. It doesn't really, you don't really need you don't need to have so much resources to be able to play with your child. It could be touch your eyes. Oh, look, I have 2 eyes. 2 eyes. What do you do with your eyes? I can see with my eyes. You can play peekaboo. Anything and everything. It doesn't have to be so serious. You could be in the car and just say something. Maybe you saw a man carrying something on his head. Oh, look, he put something on his head. When I used to be in the creche before I moved into the classroom, and I used to play this game with the 10 months old. I'll just put something on my head and say, oh, look, Msthonia has something on her head. And I'll pretend I've fallen on the floor. And oh, that was an apple on my head. It's as simple as that. Yes, so yes, even when they will not respond yet, but they're absorbing everything you are saying. Don't worry, I've worked with children that had speech delay, and even those that have speech delay, they might not respond immediately. But sometimes, even when you're not there, you might see them. Don't take the mystery box away. Keep it at where the child can reach, at the child's reach. You would see your child one day going to that box, bringing out those things and saying all the things that you've been saying. So the thing about toddlers or children is, while you are trying to get them to answer that's why I said, if you do what is this, they might not answer you, because it's like you're stressing them. But when you're not there, your child will start to say all those things that you've not been saying. So it's a process. Speech delay and all that it is a process. So you just have to be patient, keep on doing, keep on pouring into that child. One day, and soon enough. Any other question? All right, if there isn't any more questions, thank you so much for having me. Thank you very much. I really had fun. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Can we please appreciate her one more time? Thank you so much, Msthonia. I especially enjoyed the activities we had to do. I really liked that. We had to check into our inner child and just connect and ask ourselves, what would my child love? And thank you for also giving me a chance to interact with the beautiful ladies that I had on my team. Thank you. I hope to chat up with you after this event. So we're still on. If you just came in whilst Msthonia was speaking and you stumbled into the hall,